There's day 1,283 of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi, and Am Yisrael still at war. So the Arukh HaShulchan should be a source for Am Yisrael in its battle against Oivenu Mastinenu Machshmam Zichron. Today we're doing Yeridea Simon Kuf Tzadik Beis, Sif Test Yud Ches. Test. Maybe it's not going to go better. Rashba la Rosh Adam Chimud. The Rashba Chimud Rak Beis Agmar Me'achon LeChuppah LeYeser. For the Rashba, the Dam Chimud is only at the time they complete the Achona to the Chuppah, no more. At least Afilim Shach Otzman al Chuppah. So therefore, even as long further time to the Chuppah go Chagamra Achona al Shnei Shavuos Yeser, such as they're 2 weeks in advance, they're prepared. Moina is Techav Anakim. There you count the Shuvah Nakim. Shuvah Tzor B'dika Sama Chuppah. You don't need a B'dika before the Chuppah. Kosh Im Lo Bal Techav Achar Chuppah. Certainly, if they didn't have relations, meaning after Chuppah, Leisam was a problem. Bilushita Sarosh Nachim L'Chozman. Rosh Chim is all the time. Adrab, the contrary, Kol Shazman Yoytze Samach. The more the time gets closer to the Chuppah, Liba Homo Yoser. Her heart pounds more. So you need to shiv nakim mamish samach right before the chuppah. Also, if you didn't have relations immediately after the chuppah, have a chimud at shas bila, then there's more chimud until the time they have relations. So that's the case. We could say according to the Rosh, the lo mani klalim lo yisrael chuppah mamish chlos anakim. Won't work at all on the chuppahs and mamish at the end of the shiv nakim, but bia some chuppah and the bias really have mamish after the chuppah. And if the time extends, Tzricha Og Nakim, she needs more Nakim with Tefillah Chadasha and more new Tefillah, super Chumrah, Mechashash Riyas Chimud, because we're afraid that she might see an account of the Chimud. Zebora Ben Ramal Martin okay. Ramakon said it's not like that. The Vayel Chatchila is smoke. I feel something to Mitzvah Komash after. Yes, it's true. You should make the tefillah and the first bia as adjacent as possible. Klamar let me buy samach chuppah. I feel samach labila. In other words, not just samach chuppah. It should be samach to the beila. I've showed you Mashiach Habila rachok me'chuppah. We should have the beila a long time after chuppah. Ach b'diavad, but if that's not the scenario. Because that's not an impediment. Ad ha-be'ila. Should make a bdika every day until the be'ila. The ever comes no makiv. I don't think that's a minute nowadays. I don't think women make a bdika until each day until they consummate a be'ila. But tak much kasav nediyav shach mir b'zeh yoser mi b'riya vadois. You can't be more makir than this than you would be if you in a definite riya. It was not coming on the bells arba v'avila mitzvah Shabbos. They used to go to the mikvah on the Wednesday, and the be'ila would be mitzvah Shabbos. It came to Shekosha b'atel minhag. It's difficult to negate a minhag. But so okay, but that's in other words that's whatever to adjust it for the days of the week. It should not drag on after that. If it drags on, should at least check every day. As much as we can fix, we fix. Also, this it's not ma'akev b'diavad because it's no worse than a riyah mamish. That which says that the choshen has kala, ein amina ken etzleinu. We don't do that. Rely on the close relatives and friends. They'll tell the chassan there's a problem. Can't cause well crying. The Kohanim write this, evidently it's a shach. This is always those when they are masulakas damim. When she's too young or too old, embarrassed or pregnant, she should say and in a case where it's mutter to get married during her pregnancy, such as she got pregnant from this chassan, or she's taking back his divorcee. But Ksula, who's an adult, who got married, and becomes an absolute nida, didn't have sektara. Obviously, she requires to have sektara, and checking b'chol yom. Now, feel medicine to make tarosa. However, even she's days of tara, tzricha nekim mechadash. She's got to have new shiva nekim. If she completed getting married during the days of tara. Before, according to halachos, which were explained. I'm not sure I understand what he's talking about. In any event, we'll see. Yubek covers money Sunni on plenty when they determine the time of waiting for a certain day. V'sofra and the kim shekan shim the kim. Karam mibnei is a sibo machlokas, and then because of some reason or some dispute, nidches man nisuin, the time of the marriage where it got delayed, al haba for a future date. But the kim shesofra, the shim and the kim shekan are negated. Chag covers man nisuin. Then when they fix the wedding, have a chimur chadash is the new chimur. Tzich shim the kim shim the kim. The schema gdoilim. The Bach, the Taz, and the Shach, the Zeu, Davka, so at the time they delayed the wedding, they didn't determine the new time. This say can't be that time. They were afraid that maybe she didn't check well for Nevar Chimuda and she loses the Dam Chimud. When they start they set the new date, have a Chimud Chodesh is the new Chimud. And the Kim that's the clean days previously did not count. Feel Tavla and a Kumin Shur the Mikvah, it's nothing. The Kim Tefillah, she needs new Shim Kim and new Tefillah. And Muslim Mamad, Shedocha is Manakoim, but at the same time they delayed from the previous time, they postponed, Kavuz Man Acher, they did instead another time, Lorach HaKarbei was Man Zakoim, not so distant in the future, but he saw a Rakliv Dog B'chol, you should be careful to check every day. If ain't so the Kim B'chol, she doesn't need Shiv and Kim again. Chaim Tavla ain't so Tefillah Acheres. So she has to make her doesn't have to go to the mikvah again. Lokesh Machmir Gam Gavna, now like someone who's Machmir also in this scenario. The Pashadim covers Man Rachok, it seems to be clear that if they set a distant time, such as a month away, because can Yoser, or even more, no matter what the previous days in the gate of she needs a fresh Shiva Nakim and a fresh going to the mikvah. You give a Davar Pashanu, Davar obvious, Shim Yom Chuppah, Nizam Machlex Man Soim. In my day, the Chuppah, they became Machlex between the two sides, they beat Shiach, they negated the wedding. Avaga Shara Achar Kaki Achar Yom Yomai Chasi Tzvasim no day too late they got back together again. Habi Chimul Chodosh, new Chimul Botla Koimin and the previous Shivna Kim is Bata V'Tzicha Tefillah, she needs a Tefillah and a Kiyam Chodosh. Aval Im Lo Botla the but it wasn't completely negated. Elo Shanas Machlekes in Deni Dunya, although as Machlekes says that the dowry of Mishar, the Mishar Badi Misamata detail Chasan Omer She'en Rotza Shirach. The Chassid says he doesn't want to get married. So Kal wrote from Achro, but decided the Kal is running after him. Chassid Yisrael, and the Chassid gave in. Avinu Shak Yom Yomayim, it takes a day or two, we enter the Nekim Chodosh. Doesn't require the Shem Nekim, new Nekim, the last Chadaita, she hasn't been Mesiach, she hasn't forsaken her hope to get married imminently. Verily, it seems to be the Mahefer, it's the opposite. Shakal Amra, Shematel Sashirach, the Kal gave the Shirach. Side of Chassan, both in her and the side of Chassan is running after her. Chassan Yisratzu, and then she agrees to have a Chimud Chodosh. Then it's new Chimud, the Gomra, Bemes, Aliba, Mikodim, Vata Shirach, if she taka internally had a mind to negate the Shirach. So therefore she says, I didn't really want to negate it. But she did it in order to extract from him something for a benefit, and then she's believed. If the chuppah was on the road, the cow came to the proper time, Chassan didn't come yet. Those who say she means if he tarried a day or two, he didn't notify the kala. But the previous Nikim are bottom. They shakal savra shabita shir because the kala thinks that he may have canceled the shir. The chokos that they don't care. The people argue this. They say it's not true. The bad he Yosheves mitzapa because she's slowly saying and yearning for his coming. But she says the Yisabe is a siba that something must have happened. Avaloti tleb bito shir. But we want to assume that the shidduch is negated. In the bracket it says here Taz Shamachme Oshach Meko. Taz stringent Shach is lean. Kenkasu b'chuas masas binyamin. Ve'elach mirbedin meilu. Nothing b'shnam b'machim these so that's because Shachnu Marchasa, but it's here. Next day, representative came. Ma'aser Shoya Kachay. That was a specific story, but Chuvas Masas Binyamin. V'lo Likuva, it's not the scenario which is necessary in order to avoid new Dam Chimud. Okay, I'm asking about the law, because not, If not, it's already negated from the day before. What happens comes the next day. How come the bottom Yomim Shnaim or Shloshel Abol is Manam Abol? It means that doesn't cover 2 or 3 days after the appropriate designated time. If don't hold it, don't hear from him. Finally, but the so certainly her heart starts pounding, and in a negative way, and she becomes hopeless. But certainly a day, I guess even 2. Ain't Sarich. No. Day, no. Before he said Yom Yishayim Shlusha. 1 day ain't so klum. Can't really that even duk. Well, I don't know. Before he's kind of a steer because the outside the bracket said Yom Yomayim is not a problem. And here it's saying Yomayim may be a problem. Tzarechim. Tesva, Dar Pashu, it's obviously my idea machlokas is batal shirach. If through a machlokas shirach was negated, if take a ba chasen, acher immediately another cousin comes. He swats the kaitza. Groom number 2. Got to go through the process again. There's a new chassan, she has new chimut. This feeling once she agreed to the second guy. She went back to groom number 1, but still no good. The previous chimut is negative. She's new to chim and tefillah. I mean, when they gave the first one, a new chassan did not arise. But the same day they got back together again. Those who say the Sidrei Tara and several other gedolim, they don't need new nikim. But it's only they stay a day or 2. The shidduch was negated. Then she knew my new nikim. Not the same day. Even they were negated during the day and they got back together at night. It's not a problem. She hasn't yet given up. Tezayin, the story of the certain widow has set time in the Tanoim and the stipulations with the chassan to get married. He might come early. He did that. And she said she lied that he was going to come early, but she counted 17 days until she came to and went to the mikvah. And they had relations. But the Asa Shlokadin. So she certainly did something inappropriate. She already loyal a beer or garma biasa. You didn't know for sure when he's going to come until he came. And then there's the new chimut. She could have counted Shivakim then. Nevertheless, came Naviachar Maisa since it's after since they got married. Ain't Afrishans don't have to separate them from each other. Came in the Chashash Chimud Ain't Elamid Rabbanon since the Chimud is only the Rabbanon. That's the task. Maisa Bekal Shabiksha May Avia Chassan Man is showing a story of the Kal wanted to ask the father of Chassan to make the wedding faster. Shishimansky said he agreed. I'll tell you, so he has to go travel to his house to get their permission. They agree. Send a messenger to the Kal to let her know. So he did this. You got to count the Shimon from the day the Shliach comes. I mean, but if he promised her, he said he's sure that the members of the household will agree to that. Presumably his wife. She can immediately count Shimon. That's a Nodi B'Yehuda. All these things, the rabbi has to have common sense. Torah allowed it to yichud with your wife is in need of. Not concerned with any thing going wrong. Much concerned with similar as we shall see. And then only that relations once. The Lotki for Yitzhak Kokach, because Yitzhak is not so powerful. I mean, the Dain Lobala didn't have a relationship. Coach Kitzah Medusa, so they got married. She was in Nida. She called them a Be'ila before their relations pierced her Nida. She became a Nida. Also, Siachim was now to be Yichud with her. Now to be secluded with her. Now this, I feel like she was Torah. For and he had relations with Kamalelos for several nights. Chaka pierced the Nida, and then she became a Nida. Avrav Shon Horim, so Lotki for Yitzhak, even though it says Yitzhak is not so strong, he was able to hold back a few days. Shem Yachim of Kamalelos Lobal, they were together, secluded several nights and then had relations. Come also, I felt Yachim. Now it's also. The Isser, when it's forbidden, Yitzhar B'Yosa, the Yitzhar burns brighter. Levad the Yisur Kav, he's like the Zidin Isser, Mashalo B'Yosa Torah. He didn't do Bia when he didn't do Bia when she was Torah. But Zelganke Derech Yitzhara. That is the Derech of the Yitzhara of royally Garbel, and you should rebuke these kids. The Gormi well Nasham, they're causing bad things for themselves. But they're Vatala, and they're going to come, at least he is, to Vatala of Onish Move, and there's great punishment. As he says, Ayitas, he goes, Baskim, and a Shach, Im Shakasa Mitam, Minaga, Kol Echav, Hodim, Skim, whatever. Everybody agrees. Yud Ches, Zer Shanam say about Lishon Siv Dal. Avar Bekinsa talks on Zman Azeh, if he married her before the proper time, and so to a chassan whose kala became a nida, he sleeps among the men, she sleeps among the women. Some say she was told when they got married. They didn't have relations. She became a nida afterwards. They don't have to sleep separately. B'machar tavla bracha says machar great. Ve'echayim say ben bachel hamon or besul hamona. No difference between a bachelor between a bachelor and a widower, and between a virgin or a widow. Yeshim some say shasul yachid imo biyom v'balayla. Some say even during the day yichud is aser. Ve'etzich liyo shtei shmiros. It doesn't have to be that there are two shmiros. Akum ben anashim o he ben anashim. Don't have to be him among the men, she among the women, but one has to be among the men and she can be alone, or vice versa. If they're not in the same room, they don't need shimur at all. Some say, and now you need two shmiros, he by the men, she by the women. In the day they can be secluded. The minute is to take a youngster by the chassan and a youngster of the other gender by the kala. End quote from the Shulchan Aruch. The Achronim answer yichud even when he could have had a bia and he was not boel. The surah talk of yitzar tvei, because when she saw it's more of yitzar, because of a nasa. What does it mean of a nasa? Commissioner Rambam also chupas nida, because it's going to Rambam holds chupas nida zos. But somebody once told me a very great time of chacham that if they're already naked and in bed, and then she became a nida, and then they can be misyachid afterwards, because he was able to restrain himself at that point. Then we trust him afterwards, and they don't have to separate in terms of yichud.